just got the new iPhone 15. Can I buy a house for less than I paid for my phone? That's the question. The myth is that it takes money to make money in real estate. I'm going to bust it. Investors all across the nation bust this myth every single day. It was actually the first 2.5 years of my real estate career, buying and selling almost 30 properties, that I busted it again and again and again. Not once in 2.5 years did I invest my own money in real estate. I'm going to share how in this video. I'll start with partnerships because it was the first deal that I ever did as an investor. And what I did is I located somebody that had the experience and had the network to be able to pull money together for projects that I was looking for, and partnered with him. Partnered with him even to this day on real estate transactions. But this house right here looked a lot different when we bought it. We bought it on the MLS. We paid $70,000 for that house. We didn't pay it. We got a hard money lender to agree to terms with us. And their terms were they were going to pay 90% of the purchase price, 100% of the renovation through escrow. So we had $60,000 put in escrow to do our renovation, and they came up with 90% of our purchase price. So they came up with about $63,000 of the purchase price. Still, we're short about $7,000 for our down payment, along with closing costs, another $4 or $5 grand. And then we needed money to start the renovation. What we did is we went out and we found another investor that hadn't done anything with real estate yet, wanted to learn, wanted to get a return on some money that he had sitting, and offered him an 8% return on his money to lend us $25,000 with a promissory note. That paid $7,000 on our down payment, another $4,000 or $5,000 in closing costs, and then started our renovation. Once that money was gone, we were able to pull from escrow through a draw, get more money, do the next stage of the project all the way through to the end. We actually came in under budget on this project, so we had a little bit of money left in the draw when it was done in escrow. And this project, we were 130 plus costs and fees all in, and we sold this property for $210,000. All right, just going over these numbers, kind of give you a little bit of a visual on this one. $70,000 was the purchase price, and $60,000 was our renovation budget. Again, 90% of that purchase price was paid by a hard money lender, and then 100% of that renovation was put into escrow by them. Then we found a private investor to cover the difference of the $25,000 that we needed for closing costs and to start the renovation and things of that nature, and offered them an 8% return on their money. So purchase and rehab was $130,000, and then $8,000 was closing costs, holding fees. Obviously, you got to pay for permits. You got to pay for the electricity to get turned on. We didn't have any gas service at this one, and it was a well, so we didn't have to pay for water. So our holding costs were relatively low, but insurance and taxes and permits, anything else that was included in that, gave us an all-in cost of $138,000. And then we sold that property for $210,000. So that's not where it ends, though, right? That doesn't mean that we made $72,000 if we do quick math. And that's where a lot of people stop, right? Like, we grossed this much crazy money. So here are the real numbers. We sold the property for $210,000 after we paid our realtor fees and closing costs to sell that property, which is about another $15,750 or 7.5%. Then we paid our lender back. We paid them $131,000. Obviously, they lent us 63 plus 60, so they lent us 123. We had to pay them interest on top of that, so 131 roughly on the payoff there. And then the promissory note, again, it was for $25,000, but it had interest accrued. So our payoff to him was $26,000. So if we do the math, and I may be able to pop up a calculator. Check that out. $210,000 minus the 15,750 minus the 131,000 minus the 26,000, 37,250. There's our profit, $37,250. Again, there was no money out of pocket on this deal. My partner and I were 50-50 partners, so you can do the math again if you want to do that. But the rate of return on the money that we put in, our ROI was infinite, because none of this money came from us. That was all found money. It took us about 60 days to do the renovation, and the property sold on the MLS in less than 12 hours and closed in 30 days. So just over 90 days, just over 3 months. There's the return that we got. Not too bad. Now, probably the most common way that people make money in real estate without investing any of their own money, or at least investing less than what that iPhone cost, would be to wholesale the properties. And it's very, very common. It's very simple as well. There's some moving parts and some details that you got to understand, but the nuts and bolts of it is, as soon as you put a property under contract, you have now what's called equitable interest in that property. Then you have the right to market and sell that equitable interest, or sell that contract. An example, very simply, is you put a property under contract for, let's say, $85,000. You send it out and market it to your end buyers and your investors. Find somebody that wants to pay $100,000 for that property. Then at the closing table, they're going to bring $100,000 to the table, plus their closing costs. $85,000 of that is going to go to your seller, and then $15,000 is going to go to you at closing. Very simple. Obviously, every state's going to be a little bit different. Every locality is going to be a little bit different. And every closing company is going to have different ways that they want to do things. It's all about building your team. It's about doing your due diligence and knowing what works in the area that you are. But 98% of the country, wholesaling is an excellent way to make money in real estate without investing any of your own money. Other ways, and we kind of go over these things with this opportunity knocking, so I'd love for you guys to check out the videos that we have on that. But in opportunity knocking, we talk about things like subject to and creative financing, and different wholesale strategies like a double close versus an assignment of contract, and really dive down into the nuts and bolts. But there's just a couple of different ways, right? Partnerships, highly recommend it. Wholesaling, super easy to get into. No matter what, build your team, do your due diligence, and know people that are doing what you're looking to do in your area, and just get guidance from them, right? If you're just starting out. But I would say that that's a good way to tell you that this myth has definitely been busted. Thanks for hanging out to the end, guys. I appreciate it. If you like this content, you want to see more content like this, shoot a comment below, hit that thumbs up button. That really helps us. And then go over there to Opportunity Knocking if you're on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Really helps us grow this channel and put out more content like this. We've got a couple other myths that we'll be busting here in the future, so stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. And until next time, guys, if opportunity isn't knocking, make sure you build that door.